How did you set up your? That's one thing that I wanted to ask as well. How did you set up your Elf UI for the with the bars for your enemies? You know.
I just posted a link in Discord. Go there. I'm streaming live.
Ah, okay. Oh, I'll follow you. No.
No, this is why I set up streaming actually in the first place. Back in the day, it was to help people with this sort of shit. Actually.
Yeah, I sometimes stream as well. My middle son helped me set up some stream screens and everything. He's really into that streaming shit, so he helped me set up some stuff, which he really likes. Oh, nice! I can hear me double now.
Yeah, I'll have to figure out how to do that so that it doesn't pick up other people. Because, yeah, I guess not everybody wants to be recorded and whatnot. But then, yeah, just mute the stream and then, yeah, you won't hear yourself. Actually, I don't know why I didn't think of this last night when I was talking to Mick. Could have shown him a lot of stuff on the Feral a lot easier and quicker.
It's looking really good.
So what did you?
By the way, I followed you now.
Cheers, bro. What did you want to know? What was it specifically?
The nameplate above your enemies. How you do that?
Well, okay.
How did you set that up in Elf UI to show as it does with you?
Right. Well, the first major point there is I didn't. That's a separate add-on to Elf. Even though Elf can do it all, there's just one silly little reason I prefer using this add-on. That doesn't really matter for this, but let me do a couple of things. So add-ons. I use this add-on here called KUI nameplates. I'm actually going to disable that for a minute, so I can actually do it in Elf right now.
By the way, you have to sort that speech thing in Twitch because we're on Discord and I can hear you say it in Disc, and then 10 seconds later I can hear you talking in Twitch.
Yeah, as I said, if you just mute the Twitch channel or mute me on Discord, either one is fine.
No, I muted the Twitch. This is good.
The problem's going to be now, of course, is everything I'm saying to you live, you're not actually going to see for 10 minutes. But anyway, KUI, as you can see in my add-on list, that's the add-on I use. But I'm going to disable it now, so I can actually set it up the same way in using LVI nameplates. Okay, so now actually I'm just going to port back to Dala and go somewhere more that's got some actual enemies that will take some time to actually kill, because otherwise I'm just going to one-shot everything and that's no good for seeing what I'm doing. Come on, loading screen. Okay, so the first thing about my nameplates is I'm not interested in friendly players' nameplates at all. I don't heal, so I don't need to see where people are standing. Yep. Plus, I can see you anyway. I'm actually, pretty decent at looking at, I know what Mick looks like. He's a cat. I know what you look like.
Yeah,
You got
your point.
giant fucking wings. So that's
You
easy.
only need to see your enemies.
Yeah. And I'm not interested in nameplates on friendly targets either, in terms of like names above friendlies. Again, it's like I only play with people I like, so I don't need to know some pleb's name from another guild. Okay, so that's default. That's the default Blizzard plates now. So let me turn Elf plates on.
I'm just looking at your rig. It says network 80 megabytes down and 20 up.
Something like that, yeah.
Whoa. I got 400 down and 200 up.
Yeah. Shitty UK internet, I guess.
Well, yeah, I hear that from a lot of people. That the internet in the UK isn't as good as we have in the Netherlands. Because it actually isn't that expensive as well, what I got.
It's just an infrastructure thing in the UK right now. But yeah, we just literally don't have the tech going yet. Okay, so and to be honest,
you just enabled the nameplate, right?
I just enabled Elves nameplates as opposed to the basic ones. So
yeah, okay.
In fact, these are already looking pretty decent. So one thing, let me just try. So the first thing I don't like is the fact that all the nameplates are the same level of transparency.
Yeah, well, what I found shit is that they all turn green. To attack them.
Yeah, for me that's well. There's two reasons that can be the case. One is, for me, I have them go green as an indication of threat because I've got it set to. It should be set to tank mode, and I'll have a look at that in a minute. The other reason is because, like, okay, so the health plates weren't actually showing all the time. One thing I insist on is I want to see enemy nameplates all the time, even if I'm out of combat. So.
Yeah, and it doesn't do that in Elf.
Let's have a look. Well, let's see if it does or if it does not. So stacking nameplate type in this drop-down menu, which we'll see in a minute. I always have to stacking as opposed to overlapping. That just makes them easier to read. Toggle on while in. What's that? What does that say? While in combat or? Oh, enemy combat toggle. So I want to turn that off because I don't want to set any rules for that. I want enemy nameplates to be on all the time. Clamp nameplate option, which is this little tick box here, you'll see in a sec. I'll stay on it for a bit until it catches up. But yeah, that's what's going to clamp the nameplates to the screen. In other words, if mobs go out of the screen, the nameplates will move to stay on the screen. And I love that. A lot of people really hate it, and I don't know why. It really helps with just being able to see where mobs are, even when they're off the screen. And the most obvious thing is I know the health of all the mobs all the time, even when they're off the screen. Friendly combat toggle, well, I'm not interested in that, so I want that on. Okay. Well, let's just try that for now. So now the nameplate should be on all the time. So when I get to within a proximity, which that's not doing. Oh, there you go. Right, so they're on now. So yeah, look, you'll see in a sec. Even though I'm not in combat with the mobs, their nameplates are on, which is what I want. Because yeah, even those ones behind me, I can see. And there's other ways you can go into settings and set the actual distance that you see enemy nameplates. You can see just as those guys on the horses have walked away, they've disappeared, and that's a 40-yard range, which is the range of my longest range spell, which is Heroic Throw.
Yeah, because now the nameplate, the bars are gone. It's just the names.
Yeah, I'm not sure where you are on the stream, but yeah. Yeah, that's when they walk a certain distance away, but like I say, you can actually go into some other settings and set that. The problem with doing that is, it can get really confusing if you see nameplates of like mobs like halfway across the map.
What
You know?
is KUI more easier to customize? Why are you using KUI?
Right, I use right. Let me show you. When I kill this mob, you
because I'm not that kind of a autist that I need Elf UI. I
right.
need something that works for me as well.
So as I'm killing this mob, the actual health bar goes down in giant steps. It literally just takes a chunk of health off, which it's a really little thing, but I'm not a fan of that. The thing that KUI does is it has smooth animated health bars, so they actually animate down as you take health off, and that's literally the only reason I use Elf. I use KUI. Sorry, I just prefer the animated health bars. So the other thing I don't like about what Elf's doing right now is it's showing me all the debuffs that I'm doing to them above the bar. Now again, that's something a lot of people really like, but I don't need that because I have all my debuffs appearing as those red bars at the side of my character. So I don't need them above all the heads of each individual character. And because I know that, you know, I know what's doing what anyway. I know that Revenge is usually putting deep wounds on everything in front of me. I don't actually need to see that. So if I go in again, there should be. Is there an aura or buffs? Aura filter. So load distance. That's that option called load distance. That's how far away a mob has to be before it will not show you the nameplate of the mob. And it's set to 40 because 40 is normally the longest range of any player's spell. That's the average. So 40 is a good one.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's good for tanks. Like even if you could argue, well, maybe you want that about 50, 60, because even as a tank, it's just handy to see a mob, and that the color being red it indicates that it's an enemy, right? The reason it turns green for me is because I have my plate set to tank mode, and I like green means good. You're good, you know. Green is good. The mob is on you. It's your target. You have highest threat on it. Again, that's completely irrelevant for you. The reason yours are probably turning green is because normally for a lot of UIs and a lot of UI add-ons, green is the colour that shows that a mob is at full health, and that colour might actually change from green as it depletes. So it might go to yellow at around 50%, it might go to red as it heads towards 0 to show you that the health is decreasing, and which is kind of irrelevant for the target. That's actually more helpful colouring scheme for you, for your health bar, I find. So we've got this tab here, which you'll catch up in a minute, along the top of the nameplates in general options, called reaction colour. And that's where you can actually set. Oh, that's only some base colours, so it's literally like enemy red, but obviously you can adjust all that. So there's a threat tab as well. That's where I set the colours for what I want it to be for tanking. You can also alter the scale. So let's have a look. So the one we're really interested in is enemy NPC frames, which is on the left side menu. Go down to enemy NPC frames, and we can actually get a better look. So you can set the height and the width of enemy NPC frames. So we turn on a power bar, which we do want to see, because you want to see when they're casting. Although actually, in general, is there? Because again, I'm not interested in seeing.
That is the power bar. That's not the cast bar.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, you're right. I'm just thinking, is there options in here to make a power bar be visible only if they are an enemy type that uses a power bar? Because again, I'm not interested in seeing it on a mob that doesn't use it. Or that might just happen by default. Hide blizzard plates, of course we want to do that. Not bothered about NPC titles. Also, we can separately adjust the clickable width, which is actually really handy. So, for instance, enemy NPCs for their health, we actually set the width and the height of the bar. But in general options, you can actually set the area at which you can interact with that bar to be bigger than the actual bar, which makes clicking on mobs much easier, targeting an individual mob much easier. You haven't got, because you can see I have my bars quite relatively small. And
yeah, mine are standard as well, which is not always handy.
Yeah, I don't like it. Again, I don't know why so much of the screen real estate needs to be taken up with these massively thick, chunky bars. I mean, if that's what people want, and they prefer more information and they want more space for numbers and stuff, that's fine. But for me, I just need a quick glance. The most I would probably want on a bar in terms of other information is the percentage. I don't actually care that this mob has got fucking 1.4 million health. I can see that from I can see that from my tooltip.
Yeah, percentage has way more.
Percentage is much more useful. Yeah. So, and a lot of bosses, a lot of what they do can happen at a specific percentage. Take Portal Keeper in Antorus, for example. She has abilities, like her portal's open at exactly 90, 60, 30. Yeah. So knowing her exact health is completely irrelevant. It doesn't mean anything. Knowing the percentage, that's actually like really cool.
Yeah. But honestly, Steve, because you're now talking me through the Elf UI thing, is the one that you using, the KUI, is that much more easier to set up? Or what's the key with you using KUI and not Elf UI?
As I said, I'm literally only using it because of the animation of the actual bar. Like I say, if you watch this mob I'm about to kill, oh, I died too quick. But as I kill them, the health bar goes down in steps. It doesn't smoothly animate, and that's all. That's the only reason I use KUI, is because KUI will smoothly animate the bar. It's the only reason. So let me show you KUI quick.
Yeah, because I'm interested in that, because I can disable Elf UI as well and get the KUI. It's I don't mind having add-ons.
But again, you don't just have to use it just because I'm using it. I'm literally using KUI because it does one very specific
I'm using
thing.
something that is working, and which is user-friendly, or maybe more user-friendly.
I mean, I could go on all day about all my different add-ons. I mean, even my mouse, when I move my mouse around, it actually has a spark that glows the faster it moves, so I can find my mouse easier on the screen. I have shit that helps me loot faster. Yeah, all kinds of crap. So let me just turn KUI back on. I have a feeling I've been into LVUI before and already set up those nameplates, because they already seem very much to how I would have them.
You disabled the LVUI nameplates now.
Yeah, and I've turned KUI back on.
KUI on.
Yeah, you'll probably catch up. So, okay, I guess one thing that I like with KUI as well is you can see that when my actual target becomes 100% opaque, whereas all the other targets around become a little bit transparent. That's one helpful way of actually knowing which is my current target.
That is really good, because then you can see which. That's a problem that I have with bosses with ads. I sometimes think that I'm hitting on the ad, and then I'm looking at the frame, and then I say, "Oh shit, I'm still hitting the boss," you know.
But the other thing you can see as well is that I've set it up to do is that it's got a frame glow, so there's this white glow which you can make any colour, and there's also these arrows which you can turn on or off if you don't like them. So I have these arrows that literally say, "This is your current target, dumbass." So everything from how translucent the frame is, to how the arrow, to the white glow, everything about that is saying this is the target right now, compared to this guy. So yeah, it just it's nice. So let me show you the options. I mean, I'd say I guess these options are no better or worse than elves. I mean, Elv does some things that are quite nice. It sets friendly player frames and enemy NPC frames that have their own menu listing, so you can actually easily know what you're fucking with. Whereas this one is a little bit more. You've kind of got to be aware of what it is you are actually fucking with. But yeah, no, I mean KUI, I find it really, really easy to use, honestly. So this is the reason. This is the reason I use it over LVIs. You'll see in a sec. This bar animation set to smooth. So yeah, that's literally the reason I use it. Because when I attack an enemy, the bar, just like the main bar on LVI of my health frame, that animates smoothly.
Yep.
And that's it. And so look, I've got my colours here. So if a mob is an enemy, it's red. If it's neutral, blah blah blah, all that usual good stuff. What else can we set? We've got some. Okay, so this is useful. So this is the cast bar of an enemy. If it's something I can interrupt, I want the cast bar to be bright yellow, so I can actually really see it quickly and easily if it's something I can or should be interrupting. And if it's completely uninterruptible, yeah, just make it grey. I still want to know they're casting something, because it could be, something I can spell reflect, or should I stun the mobs to stop that happening, or whatever. But yeah, so I still need to see it. It's grey. It's like, yeah, this is irrelevant.
Yeah.
So that's that. What else? We can set the text font. I mean, again, you can do all of this in Elv. These are the sizes of the frames, which I have slightly different. I have them even smaller than what I currently do if they're not an enemy. So the bars are really thin if they're just like a neutral or friendly mob. Or as I don't have switched on at all, which is what that means is the buffs appearing above the bar, like the debuffs I'm doing to the mob as like a little icon. Not interested in seeing any of that, because I then find that too cluttered, and they can actually overlap on top of bars that are behind my current target, which just for me, I'm not a fan of that. Threat mode, obviously this is just a tank thing which you wouldn't even have enabled, but yeah, it just tells me if I've got threat. Transitioning, in other words, if I'm losing threat or only just gaining threat, is helpful to see in yellow, but it's also really helpful to see this purple. That means I don't need to tank it because another tank has got it. But as let me attack something just to show you what I mean. So you watch the bar. The bar animates smoothly. I know it's such a small thing, but my main health bar animates smoothly, and I want my UI to be completely uniform. If my main bar animates smoothly, then I want my nameplates to animate smoothly, rather than just a massive chunk of the bar just disappearing instantly without any.
And which KUI is that? Is that the add-on KUI nameplates?
Yep.
Because you also got KUI nameplate spell alert, fade filters.
I actually haven't had a look at a lot of those, and I really need to. I really need to have a look at some of that extra stuff.
Okay.
For some reason, because I activated the LVI ones, it's turned on a lot of other crap in the default name stuff. So friendly players, what's it showing me? Yeah, friendly players, I don't need to see. Oh, token prices are going back up. Could be time. Oh, by the way, I don't think we've seen you since, but this mount I'm riding on, if you want it, we are doing Karazhan mount runs now to help people get this.
Okay, cool.
There's a very specific way you have to run Karazhan, but it's very easy. Me and Matt were two-manning it until we both got the mount. And now we've got it. We can just help. Well, no, that's not as greedy as it sounds, because the chance for the mount to drop is 20% per player. So with only 2 of us doing it, it was only 40% chance for it to drop, and it took Matt a few weeks to get it. Whereas if you've got a full 5-player group, then it makes it 100% chance. So yeah. But yeah, just remember to turn your LVUI nameplates off. The thing with KUI is, unlike Elv takes over every aspect of the nameplates. KUI doesn't. So a lot of options are still handled by the default Blizzard options. So you sometimes do have to go between the two. So you'll have to let me know what you're having trouble with, and you might find the options for it are in the default Blizzard names options.
First things first, how do I disable the LVUI nameplates? Oh, just click nameplates and then tick off enable.
That's it. Yep. Yeah, I was actually going to show you on the stream, but yeah, no, that's it.
Yeah, sorry, I was in my own game.
Yeah, it's fine. Well, I'll leave my stream on in case it's something that's going to be easier to show you rather than tell you. Maybe there isn't, because if we're both using the same add-on, it's probably going to be easier to just tell you. But honestly, don't just blindly set them up the way I've got mine, because yeah, you might be used to a certain thing already, and yeah, I maybe don't have it that way.
How do I open the KUI window?
Well, the way I do it is you just press escape to bring up your things, go to interface, add-ons, KUI.
Okay. I need enemies first.
Yeah.
Okay, where could you set that distance thing in KUI?
Distance thing.
Yeah, or is it normally set to like 40?
Yeah, I think by default that's set by 40.
And how could you set the percentage in the bar?
Go to text. Let's see, how have I got mine set? General health bars. Actually, that's a really good question. I've obviously turned it on somewhere. What's that saying? It says show. Under text, there's a tick box with show health text. Maybe that's it. Yeah, that's it. Which is odd because it doesn't actually say percentage, it says show health, but yeah, I guess that's what they mean.
Okay. So in text, I click health text, and then it's still. Oh, then I get underneath on the bottom it says health text.
Yeah.
And maximum health friend is blank, and then I set maximum health hostile to %. There you go.
Yeah, and the drop down box damage hostile. And then all the slider bars, the text offset things, that will just move them around. So you can place all that and adjust the size of the fonts, and yeah, you can put them wherever you like.
Cool. How did you make him the one that you targeted? That the other ones fade a bit, and the one that you targeted is more significant.
Right. Well, the easiest way to answer that is if you literally look on my stream, I'm on the Generals tab, and you just literally copy what I've done there. So you set the.
Okay, I'm on your stream.
Yeah, there's at the bottom of the General. If you click General on the left, and then down the bottom you've got all the faded alpha stuff for frame fading.
Yeah. Okay, let me set it the same.
I mean, the fade animation speed, that's totally up to you, but yeah, I've just got it set to 0 so that there's no faffing about. It's just instantly either faded or not faded. See, like already, one interesting thing you can do, you'll see there's a tick box there that says avoid low health enemies. And what that'll do is that won't fade low health enemies, and that can be useful, especially like for instance if you're a warrior and execute phase starts at 20%, that could be really helpful. And to have the nameplates not fade when you're not targeting them, so you can easily find those guys that just need cleave the super execute business. I mean, honestly, if you want a basic kind of base, like I've done, then yeah, I can literally just go through each page and you can just copy the settings, and then you can go from there. But I'll have to show you the Blizzard nameplate settings as well, because as I say, some of the base settings are still in there with KUI.
Well, I've set the frame fading the same as with you. So avoid raid icon, fade friendly NPCs, and
Yeah,
avoid name
yeah.
only.
So yeah, yeah, that just literally means if something's got a raid icon on it, don't fade that unit, because for some reason that's probably an important unit if it's got an icon, a raid marker on it. Which obviously is handy if suddenly, like, we're in a Mythic Plus and I'm like, this mob needs to die first, this is the focus. Then yeah, if I put a mark on it, it will instantly always be at 100% opacity, even on your screen. So it's literally doing all it can to get your attention. And obviously you can set the glow colour to whatever you want just by clicking that square.
Yeah, I tried that, but I can't. I only get it red, green, blue.
Yeah, you should have the sliders, red, green. It's just RGB colour values.
How can I get it to white?
Just ramp everything up to 255.
Lol.
RGB values work just like real light does in the real world. You know, all colours of the spectrum create white light. So yeah, just maxing everything will give you that lovely one. But yeah, you can have, yeah, just pick whatever colour you want. So I mean, I do change that myself sometimes. Sometimes I like it to be a bright blue. Sometimes I find, I mean, white is good for most situations, but obviously if you have it like a bright lime green, that's not really helpful when you're in Antorus and every fucking thing else is bright green.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just find white is kind of a good basic colour for most things. But yeah, you don't even have to use that glow if you don't prefer it.
How did you set up that cast bars that were interruptible and which wasn't?
Okay, there's my.
Because that's easy when you got a lot of mobs around who are casting, and not clicking the wrong one to interrupt.
Yeah, well, that's my cast bar page. So yeah, just copy that. Yeah, I also have that uninterruptible shield visible as well, which literally, as well as it being just a greyed out cast bar, there's a shield on it as well that literally says this spell is blocked. You can't interrupt this. But if you let me know if you want the colour values, and I'll click the box so you can see what values I'm using. But again, you can just move the sliders around, just make them something whatever you prefer. I just use yellow and greys because of it's what I've always used. Like, I used to use an add-on called Quartz that was a really good cast bar add-on, and yeah, that by default used to use like a sort of orange colour for interruptible casts and grey. So I've always just kind of stuck with that more or less. Just find the yellow pops a bit more. And again, I make LVUI's cast bar the exact same colours as well, so everything just matches. Once you've settled this up and you've got it happy, and maybe another day or whenever you want, I can show you some of my weak auras.
How do I get that interruptible to grey?
Again, it's the same. You just make all the values the same, but somewhere in the middle. In fact, I'm going to be a real idiot and change all mine to 100 because it annoys me that they're 104. which is even annoying.
Funny. I put mine to 100 as well, and it turns blue.
What? Well, no. You've got to put all of them to the same value.
I did. I put them all to 100,
What
and they turn blue.
What? Okay. Something somewhere has got another digit somewhere that you can't see then for that blue to.
Really? I turned red, green, and blue, all three to 100. Weird.
Well, all I can say is then just fuck around with the sliders until you get a grey colour.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't know why that's doing that. That's really weird.
What does the aura thing do?
Right, auras I don't have enabled. So there's my aura screen. But auras literally will put debuffs that you're putting on the target. It will actually show them as icons with timers above the nameplates, which a lot of people really like. So don't dismiss it out of hand, even though it's something I don't use. Just try it and see what you think. It's probably something you were seeing anyway in with the LVI ones. But like as I said earlier, though, I don't find it as clean.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
But yeah, it's totally individual taste, and you can alter the size of them, and you know, you can alter. There's even a whitelist and a blacklist if there's particular effects you don't want showing as auras and ones you do, and yeah. So you know, if you just absolutely have to know at a quick glance that every mob has got a certain debuff on them, and
yeah,
it's really important that they do have it, then yeah.
And Steve, the boss mods, have you got enable boss mods on or off?
I think I do have it enabled, yeah.
Because I turned the thread off, because that's for tanks, and I'm not a tank.
Yeah, no, yeah, of course. I do have it on, yeah. I think it's to do with letting DBM have a certain amount of control over certain things when it comes to bosses in dungeons and stuff. Honestly, it doesn't really seem to do that much. I think it just lets DBM put raid markers on things when it's important that it does.
Well, the box that you've got that I think lets DBM control stuff is allow boss mods to control visibility of nameplates. And that's off with you.
That's off with mine because, yeah, I don't want DBM taking control of nameplates. I do want it to be able to put things like raid markers on them, though. But I don't want it like icon size. You see, is a thing. But yeah, no, I don't want DBM fucking with turning nameplates on or off because it thinks some things are important for me to see. I want to see everything. But again, it might be something you could try, and as a DPSer, maybe it's not important that you see everything, so maybe letting DBM do that for you might actually make things even clearer for another type of player. If it deems that, like, oh, this is a mob, but it's like a DPSer just shouldn't be going near this right now, so we're gonna like hide that nameplate. Yeah, that I could see why that would be useful. It's just as a tank, well, not even as a tank, but as someone that likes to think I'm relatively experienced in what a lot of the fights do, yeah, I already know what I should and shouldn't be fucking with without that doing that. That would just annoy me because I've got no other way of seeing mob's health as well. That's the other thing. I need to see everything's health.
Okay, mate, cool. Thanks for the help. I learned a lot. I set it up, and I'll be on tonight as well, because I got to get some grocery shopping done before my mum and dad gets here.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
And thanks for the help. I'm gonna tweak a bit with my LVI as well to get it more clean, so I get more awareness of the environment around me, which probably will help me at least cheat a couple of deaths.
Yeah, Anything that helps. Well, even if you die the same, it doesn't matter. If you feel like you're having a better game experience because it's not as cluttered, then yeah, all to the good.
True. Well, thanks again.
No worries, mate.
And I'll catch you tonight.
See you later.
See ya.